Hello and welcome back to episode 2. We got the door of 1603 opened before us, so let's explore exactly what is behind it all. The mansion had an alluring air of beauty about it in that era. It was almost like something out of a fairy tale. This period of history could perhaps be described as a symphony of destruction, as cumbersome principles of old came crashing down. Freed from day-to-day oppression of these antiquated precepts, the people seemed to hark back to the more poetic, expressive ways of old. They took these newly blossoming emotions in hand, and with them they wrote literature, painted portraits, composed theater, and found love. Even the church, which had maintained authority throughout the Middle Ages, embraced the changing times, adopting the culture's flowering sense of aesthetic. War would break out not 20 years from then, plucking the ripened era from the tree of history. But that is of no concern to us now. At the time, it was still what people refer to as the Golden Age, a period of furor for all who were there. Yippee! Now, let us take a slight detour. No, we will not be changing locations. This is a tale about the mansion from beginning to end. We will, however, be moving through time. Say, about 8 years into the past. A very wealthy family lived in the house then. The mother and father, brother and sister all had distinctive, beautiful flakes in hair. I was always enamored by their hair. By contrast, mine is the color of a wet crow. See? There I am, standing around looking rather a fool. Are you there? I see trees and I see like the vague outline of like a rose. Is that your hair? Where are you? I was happy back then. And what reason did I have not to be? Afforded the opportunity to attend such a beautiful home. So I poured my heart into serving that family. Listen closely if you would. That soft, fleeting sound that could only be a young girl singing. Can you hear it? Yeah, it's rather cheery. La la la, la 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 la. The girl you see, cheerfully picking crimson roses and singing like a songbird, was called Nellie. Though young, she sang with elegance. Oh, the music stopped. The music stopped. Oh, there it is. It's repeating. Nellie was deeply fond of the house's garden, and she would often spend her afternoons there. Gorgeous roses gathered from all across the world bloomed in the garden. They were given the utmost care, and even had their thorns removed. So young Nellie would not hurt herself naturally. The light brown-haired girl carefully plucked petals from the roses, gathering them up as she sang. Her voice was like music played by fairies. Nay, the sight of her was like an angel descended from heaven. Oh dear, please don't look at me like that. I admit, I was being rather fanciful. But what is a woman if not fanciful? Little bird, singing night and day. For your little birdie heart, sing your woes away. I got some rhythm. Pretty flowers all around the little birds. And even when the sun comes up, flush 'em with the turds. Oh, dearest Mel, I've forgotten what comes next. Are you listening? No. Nellie was, as a matter of fact, not the only visitor to the garden that day. She always came with her older brother, Mel Gibson. The young siblings were inseparable. Mel adored his little sister, who in turn pined for his attention. The sight of the two innocent children cuddling together not yet shackled by the fear of the future, was truly heartwarming. That day, Mel was sitting in the shade of a tree reading a book. As I am sure you are aware, in their time, books could not yet be mass-produced. Is that right? Thought the printing machine came out in like the 1400s, but maybe not. Mr. Gutenberg, or whoever came up with it, printing press, what he was reading had been copied by a scribe. I presume he had borrowed it from the church. The book, having passed through many hands over the years, was visibly worn, but I suppose that just speaks to its importance. It was, in fact, a Latin grammar textbook he was reading. Mel was a clever boy. He had attended church from a very young age, where a priest would instruct him in Latin grammar. So at that time, I believe he was capable of reading even advanced texts. Oh, dearest Mel, please. I'm gonna give them both, like, grown-up voices. Because I'm not gonna do little kids' voices. Not after the whole of, Ace Attorney 2. The young girl approached her brother, who was consumed by the text. In her hands, she carried a large pile of rose petals. Though his sister's shadow overlapped with the trees, the boy still did not notice. So Nellie puffed her cheeks, thrust out her slender arms, and let the petals fall. Ah, why are you shaken by that? Look, your head is covered in roses, Mel. Oh, Nellie, you got petals on the book, you dull girl. This isn't mine. I can't afford to let it get dirty. It's your fault, dearest Mel. I tried to get your attention. And besides, flowers won't get a book dirty. I must raise the white flag. When did my little lady find herself such a sharp wit? While waiting for you, dearest Mel. I waited and you didn't so much as glance at me. I'll be an adult by the time you're done reading that book, you imbecile. Wow, that soon? That soon. Mother says girls grow up fast. Haha, she may be right. In that case, we should do something together before you're all grown up. Let's go on a murder spree. Surely you won't play with me any longer when you become an adult. That's not true. I'll still play with you even when I'm grown up. But grown-ups don't play, Nellie. Fine. I'll stay a child forever then. Didn't you just say you were about to grow up? You're so mean, Mel. Ah, I'm sorry. Please don't pout, my little lady. How about this? To make it up to you, I'll play whatever you want today. Really? Do you mean it? I want to play make-believe. Dungeons and Dragons. Make-believe? Make-believe. I will be a princess taken captive by an evil kingdom, and you, dearest Mel, will be my valiant knight. And then you turn into a prince when you rescue me. A knight can become a prince? Impressive. They can. Knights and princes both have to be charming, so of course they can. Gotta marry the right folk first, but, you know, nepotism and all that. Which is why it must be you, dearest Mel. No one else can be my prince or my knight. Neither my angel or my devil. While he may have appeared outwardly embarrassed as his rose-cheeked sister proclaimed prattlingly, I am certain he was smiling on the inside. After a few moments, he meekly knelt, bringing himself to eye level with Nellie and gently stroking her soft hair. All right then, you're my princess, Nellie. And not just anyone's princess, dearest Mel, but yours alone. So, don't be anyone else's prince but mine, okay? Nelly. Geez, my princess is quite the fawner. Is that bad? Does that make you dislike me? Not at all. I'm proud to have you as my sister, Nelly. You mean more to me than anything in the world, my dear princess. Jeez, what if... I feel like I'm just awkwardly standing off to the side, watching this weird stage play out. I love you, dearest Mel. You'll always be my prince forever and ever. Her mood quite improved. Nelly began humming the melody of the song she had forgotten the lyrics to. Holding the skirt of her dress out from her body, the young girl pranced about the garden. Mel, his eyes on her back, gave a little shrug. Oh, Nelly, don't come crying to me if you trip running like that. But Mel was not entirely disapproving of his sister's excitement. He carefully brushed the petals of his book, set it in the shade of the tree, and began chasing after Nelly. They were picturesque siblings, brimming with hope. And at this time in their lives, there was nothing to jeopardize that hope. Would it not be wonderful if children could stay children forever, Master? As I see it, though, the pleasant, gentle times in our lives have value because they come to an end. Wouldn't you agree? Time continues to flow, impartial and without exception. And as such, everyone's childhood comes to an end. Aw, man. Now you're just making me nostalgic for Zelda. That was always my game choice growing up. Zelda and Super Smash Bros. Melee. Video games are my childhood, okay? Not so much the outdoor stuff. But be that as it may, does time also flow at the same speed for each individual? Now, let us take a trip down the river of time. I would be very much delighted if we could remain at this point in time, but unfortunately we cannot. Please do not let go of my hand, Master. Alright. Black hole consumes all. Rawr. Alright. Mel has grown up. I'll be on my way then. Oh, you usually stay for longer. Yes, I have an errand to run today. Thank you for your time, as always. Would you like the book back Would you like the book back sometime next week? Next week, or the week after. Hold on to it as long as you'd like. But surely there are others who want to use it. None as sharp as you, Mel. Put yourself in my shoes and you'll understand. I want to give you any advantage you can get. Sure is a lot of awkward laughing in these dialogues. Oh, do you not believe me? No, I believe you, Father. And I mean to do well with... and I mean to do whatever I can not to disappoint you. That's the spirit. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. I'm proud to have you as my pupil. Yes, and Mel, do consider what we were talking about. Going to university? Indeed. If you do, I can introduce you to some accomplished instructors. There is very little left for me to teach you, and I believe you would make a fine priest. Aye. It's an honorable thing, Mel, to devote yourself to the service of our Lord. I'll give it some thought. If you'll excuse me, then, I'll see you again. Our doors are always open. Farewell. All right. Whether it's in the service of God or the service of the church, it is an honorable profession. A theology. I wouldn't mind attending university, but I'm not sure. I'd kind of like to do something different, something more befitting of the times. As for what, though, I'm stumped. But I need to make up my mind soon. If I did drag my feet for too long, even my father is liable to grow impatient. Mercy me. Young sire, blessed young sire, alms, alms for the poor. Ah, this beggar. If I'm not mistaken, he's been outside the church since last week. It's time to boot him then. Alms. The way he shakes his head. I can get a glimpse of his forehead under his hood. He's completely bald. Ha 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 ha. Buy yourself some bread with this, you bald. Ah, thank you very much. May the Lord bless your soul. Thanks. The Lord. Oh no! Nellie's going to be cross if I don't hurry home. Curses, and it looks like it's going to rain. Master, master. Oh, thank goodness. You appear to have a firm grasp on your consciousness. I was afraid you had accidentally let go of my hand. Hee. Now, master, this is the period of time I truly wish to show you. The boy reading in the rose garden was now a fine young man. Nonetheless, he still bore the same gentle eyes as before, and he would from time to time show remnants of that young, innocent boy. He was, in his own mind, still making the transition into adulthood, I suspect. Mel frequently visited the church, on Sundays to participate in Mass, of course, but more often to be tutored by the priest. In addition, he also attended a private school ran by an eminent marquis. Though it was not a school where students had desks and sat in rows, they studied at the marquis's estate. Secondary and higher education was not the same as it is today, and Mel was considering university. The priest wanted to recruit him to the church, but Mel was having difficulty deciding what he should do. That he had such a choice is envious, is it not? Perhaps for that time. Alright, we're getting some screen transitions. Alright, we'll pick up right here next time on Hooky Hour. We'll see what Mel has to say that isn't good afternoon. So until then, have a good afternoon. Bye.